Hello, I'm Devin, integrative health expert, Ayurvedic health advisor, and holistic coach. Welcome to InnerSpark Living from Your True Nature podcast. This is a resource for those ready to gently, naturally, and sustainably restore their energy, their clarity, their health, and their wholeness. Each episode offers grounded, practical guidance and soul deep insight drawn from nature's wisdom, integrative health, and the timeless principles of Ayurveda. Together, we explore real, sustainable self care, healing from the root and how to actually get there, and dissolving the inner barriers that keep you unwell, depleted, and stuck in survival mode. This is an invitation back home to yourself. And now for today's episode. Hello, welcome back to another episode. I'm glad that you're here. Today, we're talking about a cycle that I have personally been in many times in my earlier years, and one that I have witnessed clients be stuck in until our work together when they can finally break free from it. So, this one is about being tired of rebooting. You know what I'm talking about? That kind of burnout, reboot, repeat. This is for those of you that are tired of crashing again and again, trying so hard to feel better, only to end up in the same place, wondering what went wrong. And it's for those that are feeling stuck in inconsistency, feeling like they are trying to make themselves do what they should. They're tired of trying everything and still kind of circling that same loop, that same cycle. So this is for you. All right. So that cycle, it looks something like this. Maybe you're pushing too hard at work. You're skipping meals, you're staying up too late, you're overdoing, overgiving, performing, putting yourself last, holding it all together for everything and everyone. And all the while, there's those little signals and symptoms that are slowly starting to talk to you from your body and from your mind, and you ignore them and you keep going. And then, bam, you crash and you decide to throw yourself into a new program, a new routine, a new diet, or a new practice. And so then the reboot begins. Maybe it's something like a reset weekend, right? That's something I've seen a lot in my clients is when we first worked together, they were, it's these extremes, right? So I went on vacation and I ate everything I wanted to, but it's okay because this weekend I'm going to fast for like 2 days on nothing but air, you know? So maybe this new thing, this vow, the reboot is like a reset weekend or a new supplement protocol or a vow to journal and meditate and hydrate. So you do this thing and you throw yourself in it and you start again. And maybe for a little while it helps. And maybe for a little while you feel kind of okay. And like maybe this time it'll stick and you'll do quote the things that you should do. But then it doesn't last because it's not sustainable and life keeps lifing and things start to slip, right? Sleep slips, your meals get rushed or they get skipped, your breath gets shallow, you start defaulting back into those ways of overdoing and overriding and overgiving. And you, of course, override your own knowing again. And before you know it, the crash is back. Your body gives out, your mind goes foggy, your emotions feel like a tangled knot, and you feel that familiar emptiness, that quiet thought that's like, I can't keep doing this. Not only is it exhausting, but it's not good for me. And I think especially the older we get, and the accumulation of all of these unsupportive choices really starts to build, we have even less tolerance for it. So there's less tolerance for it because we're like, this doesn't feel good and I don't want to keep doing this, like emotionally, energetically, mentally. And then there's also less tolerance in the system because that really takes a lot and really stresses out the entire system. So there you have it, that burnout, reboot, repeat process. And does that sound familiar to you? I imagine it does. Like I said, I I know I did that many times for many years for the whole beginning part of my life. So this is what I want you to know about that cycle is that it's not some kind of personal failing. It's not a motivation issue or a discipline issue or some type of um, any type of failure. It is a call to do something differently. It is happening because you are trying to operate in life without any type of solid actual foundation. You're trying to heal what is really soul level depletion that is showing up as like, oh, these little crash and burn things. But this lingering, deep, lifelong soul level depletion, you're trying to heal it with surface level strategies, right? Like the resets and the supplements and the thises and the that's. So this is just continually trying to push through without actually focusing on the root and without actually building a solid foundation upon which to live. So no more books and the courses and the lists and the promises to yourself that you'll rest more and eat better and breathe more deeply. Because even despite or in spite of those things, despite those things, you're still oscillating and pendulating between effort and collapse and tension and exhaustion. And again, not only is that swinging between extremes so taxing to the system, it is also a sign of instability in the system. It's your whole being telling you that something at the core foundational level isn't working. Because when something is working, when we have a lifestyle and practices and habits that are working, that are aligned, that are natural, that are true, we want more of them. We don't like take a vacation from them or like fall off of them. There's no need to talk ourselves into sustaining it. The more that we align with what's natural, the more effortless it becomes and the more of it that we want, kind of like breathing. But when we're performing wellness or following trends and doing what we quote should, it's often not sustainable because it's not natural for us. So the things that we're doing, there's like this twofold thing happening. The things that we're doing aren't what's natural and aren't what is actually supportive. But then we're also trying to pile it on top of no foundation. It's like building a house on quicksand. So the issue isn't like, oh, I need 700 supplements and I need to do this crazy breath technique and I need to get a earthing mat and a red light sauna. Like those things sure can maybe be fun and have their place. And that's not the point. That's not going to break this cycle. That's not going to stop the repeated instances of burnout and of consistently being disconnected from yourself and overriding your own innate knowing repeatedly. That's not going to get to the root and stop the insanity. Most of us were never taught how to live well and do the things that are actually necessary to maintain and sustain well-being and to live a rich, grounded, full life. And so without that foundation, we're constantly trying to cling to something outside of us. So we were taught to override our needs and to follow the dysfunctional norms of the modern world. And we were taught to push and produce and prove instead of feel, flow, and rest. And most of us were we're shown how to ignore our natural rhythms, the natural rhythms of nature. We tend to generally, as a society, celebrate exhaustion and punish softness. And so this is what leads to what I've come to kind of coin as the depletion cycle. So that weak foundation of self-care that creates a real disconnection from self, chronically overriding our own innate wisdom to keep up with those dysfunctional norms of the modern world, and a system that's overwhelmed by the big three resilience zappers of unprocessed stress, trauma, and shame. So again, that's where this kind of burnout, reboot, repeat process, we swing between the overfunctioning and the collapse, the control and the numbness, the hypervigilance and the shutdown. And the longer that we stay in this loop, the easier it is to believe the lie that something is wrong with us because we can't keep up, can't do it right. And so just this like swinging between extremes, man, it's exhausting. I'm reflecting on so many different instances throughout my life of doing this, long periods of complete, just like gluttony, debauchery, lots of alcohol, like no physical exercise, and then going to like the opposite. And I'm going to be good, and this time is different. And it doesn't have to look that extreme. Like I said, the example of I went on a vacation and we ate whatever we wanted and we came home and feel like crap and now we're going to fast for 2 days. Like that's another example. Or I'm going to get through this push at work. It's just going to be a really tough couple of months, like 4 hours of sleep if I'm lucky, and then I'll rest. Or that classic cliche that we've all heard, like I'll sleep when I'm dead. Yeah, and if you don't take care of yourself now, you're going to get to do that more quickly than you may really want to. Just saying. So the truth is, nothing is wrong with us. Like I said, we're trying to go deep and feel well. And like, there's this like clinging, wanting to grip and find something to feel well. And we are just looking outside, 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 just trying to get all the things like, oh, if I get like just the right diet, or I'm going to do this thing and I need this supplement and I need that thing and this trend and this fasting method and 16 hours, not 18, and maybe it's 20 hours I should do it, and just like all this stuff, when again, that is not going to stop the cycle. That is not going to make you feel the way that you are trying to feel. It is all a distraction, a deeper divide between you and yourself, and most of the time, not actually healthy or good for us. I did an episode recently about some of those modern norms and trends that are claiming to be healthy that are actually causing us harm. So check that out if that sounds interesting. So yeah, you don't need more information. You don't need another reboot. You need a foundation. You cannot access your emotional, energetic, or spiritual layers when your system is stuck in survival. Everything that we experience in our physical bodies and in our lives is at the direction of those more subtle parts, our emotions, our mind, our energy, our thoughts, those impressions that we carry from the past. So if there is dysfunction, dis-ease, challenge in our physical experience of our life, be it in our bodies or in our just experience of life, our relationships, our work, etc., the roots of that are in the subtle parts of us. So sure, we can find some relief by tending the physical and looking at the symptoms and pacifying them with something. But that quality and that challenge is not going to go away. It's not. So we can't go deeply into those places when our system is stuck in that survival, and that survival mode looks like that loop, that constant like running, like burnout, reboot, repeat. I need the things, gobble, gobble, gobble the information. I need this supplement. I need that. Just that like that energy. I know you know that energy. It's kind of just like how most of the world currently lives. So we've all like felt it, and you can kind of feel it when you're around certain people, or maybe you're in that right now. Your nervous system needs a sense of safety before it can open. And that safety really begins with rhythm. That's where true healing begins. Rhythm equals safety, and safety equals capacity. And when we create that capacity, we have more ability to access those subtle parts. There's more capacity to feel, to heal, to connect, and to live. Nature lives in rhythm, and you are nature, even though for so many generations now, so many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, we've been kind of slowly disconnecting and severing that tie more and more and more, and making it like this separate entity outside of us, of which we're not part. That's a lie. That's just not true. And if you don't believe me, I mean, just take a look around. The physical, emotional, mental, spiritual diseases that we have of today were unheard of. Unheard of. We have people getting sicker and sicker, younger and younger. Babies on medications for things like emotional and mental challenges, and this disconnection and unsustainability of many of the ways that we live, and this lack of a true foundation feeds that cycle. That was a bit of a tangent. Anywho, so nature lives in rhythm, and you are nature. And when we can return to a natural, rhythmic way of living and being on a daily and seasonal basis, honoring our life seasons, the cycles of our lives, and honoring what it truly looks like to live well and to heal deeply, and to bring that sense of simplicity and fulfillment from the inside versus clinging to something on the outside. That's where healing comes. And it's not complicated. It's not hard. Every day, your body, mind, and spirit ask for 5 simple things: whole food nourishment, deep rest, intentional use of your breath, delightful movement, and some self reflection and management of your energy. These are not trends or fads. They're not like bonus habits or luxuries, something frivolous and luxurious. These are the foundational needs of a human being, period. Like you need all of these things to stay alive. So this isn't like a nice to have, like a bubble bath could be like a nice to have. I don't need a bubble bath to stay alive. Like these are the 5 foundational things that we need to live. And then when we can do them consistently, rhythmically, and in alignment with nature and our actual lives, we stop crashing, we stop rebooting, we stop trying to survive our lives, and we begin to actually live them. And yet we've like really just ditched these things, or we've overcomplicated them. And I think more than that, we just overlook them. I mean, like the things, for example, food, the things that are out there today that are trying to be passed off as food is unheard of. We have more chemicals here in this country, chemical additives that we are allowed to put into food and self-care products, like hygiene products, deodorants and toothpastes and cleaning products and all the stuff. But food, like packaged food, we have more chemicals allowed here than like in any other country. And so that just plus the fact that most of the stuff, like if it comes in a package, there's a lot of stuff to consider. One, it was made in a lab, like a factory. It is maybe started out as something that came from the earth, but by the time it leaves, like not really, not so much. Who knows when what the original natural thing that it might have started out as was like picked and harvested, how it was actually grown, what kind of pesticides or herbicides were used. And then they take it. So let's say, it's like some bar or some, I don't even know, like chips or something. So it started out as a potato at one point, maybe in those bars. They had some wheat at one point. But then by the time it gets to us, I don't even know like how far down the ingredients list you'd have to go to even see potato or wheat and all the other stuff that's put in there with it that we can't pronounce. So there's all of that aspect. So any life-giving qualities of the like real life natural thing that maybe it's kind of started out as a little bit of is gone. Just kind of this like mummified, embalmed version of that thing with a lot of other stuff in it that was made in a lab in a factory. And then, let's also not forget that when corporations get involved, such as the case with, all these different packaged foods, things become about profits. They don't become about our health and well-being. So we've really overlooked and overcomplicated what it takes to eat and nourish ourselves. And then so many of us, and it's again not our fault because it's about profits, staying on this just the food example, these corporations hire like the brightest scientific minds who maybe could be spending their time and energy and efforts on other things, but they're over here at these factories getting these and labs getting these just right ratios of like chemicals and fat and salt and sugar so that we really get addicted to their stuff and we want more of it. So we keep buying it and so we keep eating it. And so I get it. And it masks the taste buds, it numbs them. So many people, when we start working together, they're like, I don't like those things. I don't like vegetables. I don't like that. I have to have this. And that's not actually the wisdom of your body. That is a unfortunate and temporary impression in the mind based on the effects of eating some stuff that's arguably not food. Not food. So yeah, we've gotten so far removed from what is real. And so no wonder we're on this cycle of burnout, reboot, repeat, because we are looking, to quote the old song, we're looking for love in all the wrong places. We're looking for nourishment and wholeness and connection in overworking and not sleeping, in trying to prove ourselves, in beating ourselves up with the trendiest exercise routine rather and trying to manipulate our body into looking a certain way or functioning a certain way rather than being with it as it is and celebrating it and building strength from within. We're looking for it in food that's not food and then wondering why we don't feel well and then normalizing all of the ill effects that come along with it. Burnout just kind of being a catch-all for all the different things that and ways that shows up: hormonal imbalances, digestive distress, aches and pains and mystery symptoms, insomnia, anxiety, depression. So when we come back to this way and this gentle, foundational, rhythmic, natural way of being, life gets so much simpler. The mind clears. We are no longer attracted to that cycle. We are no longer attracted. There's freedom, true freedom, true freedom. Freedom is not, oh, but like, I just am going to do whatever I want to and sleep when I want to and eat whatever I want to and da 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 da. That's not freedom. That is bondage. That is imprisonment within the lies of your own mind and taste buds and all the things that are actually, like I said a bit ago, completely blinded and warped due to a long time of unnatural living and chasing dysfunctional norms. So when there's a part of you that is quietly nudging and tapping and saying, I need a different way, this isn't working, that's the wisdom and the part that will free you, not the louder part that's like, stay up all night, chips, coffee at 2 in the morning so we can keep doing what we want to do because this is freedom. Not freedom. Sorry, not sorry. Been there, done that, tried that. What's that phrase? Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, left, not going back. So I want to ask you, are you living in a way that makes your energy, health, and joy sustainable? Or are you stuck on that burnout reboot hamster wheel? You don't need to normalize or just be okay with exhaustion and swinging between extremes and not feeling well and not living your life. Like I said, that little nudge that's saying this isn't working is a really sacred guide that's like, I need something stable and sustainable and real. And I know that some part of you is ready to choose differently because you're still here listening to me, and I've really gone off script and on some super tangents today. So that part of you is ready to remember your rhythm, to rebuild your resilience at the root, and to restore your foundation, not just for like this week or this month, but like for life. My God, it's exhausting to do the pendulating. So stop. You don't have to. And this is the work that we do inside the InnerSpark method, Everyday Rhythms. It is not a plan or a protocol. Not at all. Don't do that. It's not about doing anything right. It's not about fixing yourself. It's a return, a reclamation, and a remembering. It's how we finally live well sustainably and tend the root, not just the symptoms. It's how we finally stop circling in exhaustion and spiraling into vitality. Do you like that? If you followed my work at all, you know that the spiral and the triangle are huge, huge parts of that. So the spiral, stop circling in exhaustion and start spiraling into vitality. So I believe that is enough for today, my friends. As we close, I want to offer you a few gentle invitations. What part of the burnout reboot cycle feels most familiar to you? Maybe there's a part that like gets you really excited, or that you kind of like, maybe you um kind of like sickly enjoy being like crashed out. Maybe you like enjoy the sympathy or the like, oh, I'm just too exhausted to do anything. And then like maybe the celebration that you feel like you get because of it. Or maybe you really get off on the like the reboot part. I know I did. I was like, ooh, awesome new workout trend. Don't mind if I do. I've tried like every diet and program that there was. I remember I was really young and I did like what was that one? They sent the food to your house. It was like the original one that Jenny Craig, I think. Oh yeah. Another invitation for you. Where do you feel the most disconnected in your life? Maybe it's from your body or your breath, your boundaries, your needs. What does that disconnection feel like and how does it show up? And lastly, what's one small rhythm you can begin to restore right now, today, even if it's just one conscious breath or one really nourishing meal, one honest check in with yourself? Let that be more than enough and let that be your way home. All you need to do is begin with a small step and then continue with another and take another and take another, continuing to slowly and gently and consistently walk back towards what is real and true.